Have you ever had an experience where you expect students should know something as a prerequisite for the content you teach, only to find that they clearly do not know what you expected they would know? Or what about the experience where students tell you they know something, only to find out they really don't know what they said they know? Such experiences, while frustrating, are not uncommon in education. In such circumstances, it's easy to become exasperated as an instructor. They said they knew this, or they should know this, are common conclusions to such situations. In this video, we'll explore some reasons why these things might happen, particularly as it relates to students' prior knowledge, which can either help or hinder learning. As you teach, it is good practice to help students connect new information with pre-existing knowledge. Such knowledge could come from previous experience, previous coursework, or even topics discussed earlier in the same course. While prior knowledge obviously exists, it is precarious to assume that all prior knowledge provides an equally solid foundation for new learning. Prior knowledge can exist across a plane of lower and higher order usability, and it is not uncommon for learners to overestimate their ability to effectively use knowledge. As mentioned, prior knowledge can either help or hinder learning. Prior knowledge can help when learning is activated, sufficient, appropriate, and accurate. Conversely, prior knowledge can hinder learning when it is inactive, insufficient, inappropriate, or inaccurate. Not surprisingly, students learn more when they can connect what they are learning to accurate and relevant prior knowledge. As the authors of How Learning Works put it, new knowledge sticks better when it has prior knowledge to stick to. Despite this, instructors should not assume that students will immediately or naturally draw on relevant prior knowledge. Instructors should find ways to intentionally activate students' prior knowledge so that students can more readily make connections between appropriate prior knowledge and the new information that is being shared. Even when students' prior knowledge is accurate and activated, it may not be sufficient to support subsequent learning or a desired level of performance. When students possess some relevant knowledge, it can lead to both students and instructors to assume that students are better prepared than they truly are for a particular task or level of instruction. One example of accurate but insufficient knowledge relates to procedural tasks. That is, knowing how to apply knowledge, but not knowing when or why to apply such knowledge. Studies have shown that students can often perform procedural tasks without being able to articulate a clear understanding of what they are doing or why. Occasionally, students will draw on prior knowledge that is inappropriate for the current learning context. Although such knowledge is not necessarily inaccurate, it can skew their comprehension of new material. Similarly, when students analogize from one situation to another and do not recognize the limitations of such analogies, the analogy can become inappropriate and negatively impact students' ability to successfully understand the new concept. For example, a study by Spiro and colleagues found that many medical students possess a misconception about the potential cause of heart failure that can be traced to their failure to distinguish the limitations of an analogy between skeletal muscles and cardiac muscles. Naturally, if student understanding suffers due to insufficient or inappropriate prior knowledge, it stands to reason that inaccurate prior knowledge will also have a negative impact on learning. Research has shown that deeply held misconceptions often persist at direct instructional interventions, but by carefully weaning students away from misconceptions, you can eventually build an accurate base of knowledge for your learners. Authors Susan Ambrose, Michael Bridges, Michelle DiPietro, Marcia Lovett, and Marie Norman provide a number of methods to combat these various potential issues students may have with their prior knowledge. If you would like to know more about those strategies, see Chapter 1 of their book, linked in the video description, for more information. Next month, we will explore the factors that motivate students to learn. Until then,